Corazon Aquino's speech during the joint session of the U.S. Congress. Background of the authors. Maria Corazon Cory Cuangco Aquino was born in Paniki, Tarlac on January 25, 1933. She attended her high school attainment here in the Philippines and later on went to the United States to continue her studies in Notre Dame Convent School in New York. After her graduation, she also attended College of Mount St. Vincent in New York City for her undergraduate education. When she returned to the Philippines, she attended law school in Far Eastern University. Cory Aquino is married to Benigno S. Aquino Jr. He was the youngest member in the Senate. Her family moved to Boston for 3 years after her husband was in prison. She didn't originally plan to run for president, but people encouraged her to do so, and she won the election on February 7, 1986. Historical background of the document. Corazon Aquino delivered her speech at the joint session of the United States Congress on September 18, 1986. She was urged to lead the Philippines after his husband was assassinated on August 21, 1983. She did the speech to seek help from the government of the United States to help the Philippines because the foreign debt, poverty, unemployment in the country as an aftermath left by the previous administration. Content presentation and analysis of the important historical information found in the document. Cory's speech started as she mentioned on what his husband, Ninoy, went through when he was locked up and how tragic his death was. According to her, the government treated him badly as they tortured him endlessly and threatened that he will be killed by execution. They also imposed him in trial for murder and other crimes. After being with his husband for over 3 years, he came back to the Philippines. Soon enough, they received the news that he was assassinated right before he stepped out of the plane. She also mentioned how the dictatorship during that time held a snap election, but still, she was able to win and she regarded to it as the victory of the people. She concluded her speech by saying thanks to America for helping her build a new democracy. Corazon Aquino's speech during the joint session of the U.S. Congress. On September 18, 1986, 7 months after her presidency, Corazon Aquino went to U.S. to deliver her speech. She emphasized through her speech the character and conviction of her husband, Benigno Aquino, and she also said how her husband suffered on the hands of authoritarianism of Marcos. She also said how painful it was to her and to her children when her husband died. However, the death of Benigno Aquino became the reason of the Filipinos stand up and spoke to themselves using rallies and to have courage and faith to free our country to dictatorship of dictator. Corazon Aquino introduced democratic philosophy, which idea of her husband, and one of her agenda to her speech in US is about peace. She also said that we still need to pay the debt of the Philippines. Still, we fought for honor, and if only honor, we shall pay. Corazon Aquino thanked America, coordinating them and reassured the alliance of America and Philippines during her reign as President of the Philippines.
Contextual analysis of the important historical information found in the document. The speech of Corazon Aquino was influenced by the situation of the country after the Marcos administration. The country was left in an oppressed situation for over more than 1 decade. This caused the Filipino citizens to be left and be burdened with the debt committed by Marcos during his regime, which they did not receive benefit from. The dust after the martial law was only starting to settle, but the Philippines was reckoning with everything Marcos administration has inflicted. That include $26 billion in total of foreign debt, and a communist insurgency that grew throughout the Marcos era from 500 armed guerrillas to 16,000. The Philippines had no enough means to compensate for the debt, Hence, Corazon filed an appeal for financial aid from the United States Congress. Moreover, since the Filipino people had really fought hard against the administration to free the country and as well as themselves, Corazon wanted to preserve the freedom that Filipinos won for themselves. Therefore, in her speech, she also expressed her plea of help to aid the Philippines financially in its road to constitutional and economic recovery. She delivered a historic speech that managed to sway in our favor to vote for an emergency $200 million aid appropriation. As president, Aquino oversaw the drafting of the 1987 Constitution, which limited the powers of the presidency and reestablished the bicameral Congress, successfully removing the previous dictatorial government structure. Her speech contributed in understanding the Philippine history. It gave a sight on how democracy was put in the line before and how the previous government treated its people. We can see the regime of Marcos through the speech of Cory, and we can all be aware of how strict it was. It showed how Cory fought for the freedom and the revolution of her people. The speech given by former President Corazon Aquino before the U.S. Congress on September 18, 1986, is an important and relevant document in understanding the grand narrative of Philippine history, the country's aspiration for a democratic and just society. The speech is relevant to the current political and social issues in the Philippines as it reflects on the country's struggle for freedom and democracy, and the importance of these values in shaping the nation's history. The speech was given shortly after Aquino became president, following the People Power Revolution that overthrew the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos. It also serves as a reminder of the important role that the United States played in the supporting Philippines during a critical moment in its history. Aquino emphasized the importance of democracy, human rights, and the rule of the law in the Philippines. She also spoke about the need for economic development and the importance of human rights. The former President Corazon Aquino's address sheds light on struggles the Filipino people underwent to achieve freedom, as well as the ways in which past acts of steadfast resistance have served as an inspiration for present Filipino revolutionaries. It also provides clarification on what actually occurred when Ninoy Aquino was president. The report details the challenges the Aquino family overcame to aid in the liberation of the Philippines. This speech also illustrates the transition from a dictatorship to a democratic system of government, its presidency to its laws, order, and regulations. The murder of Ninoy Aquino, as well as the terror of torture and the imprisonment under martial law, were also referenced in the text. It displays the issue Cory Aquino immediately encountered after becoming a president. Take unemployment and poverty for assistance. According to the paper, Ninoy Aquino's death was followed by 2 elections. His wife ran for office, but she was unsuccessful in the first round. She was elected president during the second snap election, establishing democracy in the nation.